Hi children, welcome back to our English class. Well, you must be wondering that why am I back again? Well, I'm here to recite you a story from our literature book. Remember that we have a literature book and we have many stories in this. So today I will be reciting you a story. There is nothing to write, so no need of a pencil, eraser or a sharpener that we usually do in our English classes. Right now, I just sit back and just relax yourself and listen to the story which I will be reciting to you. Okay. So this is the first story in our literature book. And the name of the story is The Ostrich and the Hedgehog. So I have taken a little effort of drawing a picture. I'm very bad in drawing. Okay. So looks like an ostrich bird. No ma'am, but please assume this as an ostrich, and this is a hedgehog. Okay, so our first chapter is completely related to these two, and a bird and an animal. Okay, so why I have drawn this picture, you must be wondering. You all have an idea how an ostrich bird looks like and how a hedgehog looks like, but still I have done this drawing in the board because I needed to do a little bit of comparison with their sizes. Okay, so ostrich, we know it's a bird, and we all also know that it's a flightless bird. So what is a flightless? This bird cannot fly, so it is called as a flightless bird. But the plus point of ostrich is it has very strong and long legs. They are very long, they are very strong legs. Okay, so they can run very fast because the steps they usually take is bigger. The steps, so one leg, the other leg, the steps that they take is very big steps. Okay, so they can run very fast. Okay, and the second point about ostrich, as per I know, okay, usually this bird digs a hole, it digs a pit on the soil and puts his head inside and buries his head inside. Okay, he thinks that he's hiding himself. That's actually the truth is that only. The bird thinks that he's hiding himself. Usually he digs a pit and puts his head inside. Usually they sleep, they relax. This is the way actually they sleep and they relax. Okay, so that is about an ostrich bird. If you see a hedgehog, okay, hedgehog is a very small, cute, tiny animal. Okay, they are very cute, they are very tiny animal, and they have stumpy legs. So you must be wondering, what is a stumpy leg? Stumpy leg means very short leg, very small and short leg. So let me show you the picture of a hedgehog. So hedgehog looks like this, very cute little animal. They have very short legs. Okay, so this is a hedgehog. Okay, now this story takes place in the summer. Okay, so this story takes place in a summer time. Okay, the summer time, this hedgehog, he comes out of his small hole, from his home. He comes out of his home and he lives in between a barley field. So he lives in between a barley field. You must be wondering, ma'am, what is a barley plant, ma'am? Well, I will show you the picture of a barley plant. So this is a barley grain. So he lives in between this field. Now the field is already ready to be harvested. Why it is ready to be harvested? It is already golden color. Can you see how beautiful golden color it looks like? So it is ready to be harvested. So our hedgehog, the main character in the story, he lives in the barley field, and this field is there in between a desert. So he gets up on a summer morning, comes out, he admires the surrounding. He sees that the plants look golden in color. He knows that this plant is ready to be harvested. Now he admires the plants because he remembers from the time it has been sown. So when the seeds were sown on the ground and when the barley plant were very tiny little green plant, from then he knows the barley plant. Now he admires them, saying that they look so big and golden color. So all are ready to be harvested. So admiring the plants, he is walking in between the field. So there is a path. So he is walking in between the field. You must be wondering, ma'am, what is a path? Usually the field, if you see this, can you see that there is a kind of a way in between each plant? There is a small way. that is called as a path. Okay, so our hedgehog was walking in between the path, admiring the plants. So as he was walking, he spotted an ostrich in between the farm. Okay, an ostrich was standing, a huge bird was standing there. He was so surprised to see an ostrich in between the barley field. So our hedgehog, he goes very close to the ostrich and tells him good morning. In a very cheerful voice, in a very happy voice, he looks at the ostrich and he tells him good morning. Now our ostrich doesn't reply to him back. He puts his head down. He hears that a tiny animal is waving good morning to him. He just looks down with all attitude and he tells him, hey, I don't talk to stumpy-legged animals. Okay, stumpy-legged animals means short-legged animals. I don't talk to them. These are tiny animals. Phew, I don't talk to them with all that attitude. Okay. Now hedgehog is a little hurt. He says that I might be having a stumpy leg. Okay, I might be having very short legs, but I can run very fast than any other animal around me. Now the ostrich is like, what? You are such a small tiny animal and you're comparing your strength of running. You say that you can run very fast than any other animal. Please, you're talking to the fastest bird over here. So he knows himself that he's a very fastest bird. Okay. So when the hedgehog says that I can run very fast than any other animal, he says, okay, fine. If you say that you can run very fast, why don't we have a race? So the hedgehog says that, come on, let us have a race. Let me prove myself that yes, I can run very fast. So the ostrich is now very much excited. He says that, okay, fine. Let us decide who is the fastest between us. So let us have a race. On a count of 3, 1, 2, 3, let us start running. Now the hedgehog says, stop, stop, stop. Don't start the race right now. I haven't eaten my breakfast and I cannot run in my empty stomach. My stomach will start hurting. So we will not run now. Let us do one thing. By the midday, that is by afternoon, let us come to the same spot and let us have our race. And I will prove you that I can run very fast than you. Now the ostrich is like, fine, let us have a race, man. Let us have a race between both of us and I will show you that I am more faster than you. So the ostrich goes away. He digs up a small pit, puts his head inside and takes a rest. He takes some rest so that his body will be energized. Okay, he can gain complete strength by midday, that he can run very fast and win the race. That is the idea of the ostrich. So ostrich goes away, he digs a pit, puts his head down, closes the pit and he is into rest. Now the hedgehog runs back to his house. Now he has kept a bet. Now he has to win the bet. He has to prove the ostrich that he is the fastest animal. So he runs back to his house and starts calling all his relatives. He calls his father, his mother, his brother, his sister, his cousins, his uncles, aunties. All the hedgehogs come together. And you know what? All the hedgehogs look similar. The animals, they look similar to each other now. All of them come and meet at a point. Now our hedgehog, he says that, see, I have kept a bet with the ostrich saying that we will be having a race and I will show him that I am the fastest animal. Now his relatives, the other hedgehogs, they said, are you gone crazy? Have you gone crazy? Why did you keep a bet with the ostrich? We already know that he's the fastest bird now. If you have a race with him, it is so obvious that he will only win. Now why did you put a challenge to him? The hedgehog says that yes, I did it because he was insulting me, calling me a stump-legged animal. Okay, I'm a very small stumpy-legged animal, which I didn't like it. So I want to show him that I am the fastest animal. Now you as my relative are going to help me now. Now all the other hedgehogs are like, how can we help you? You are the one who's going to run with him. How can we help you in this race? Now here the hedgehog uses his brain. He says, I have a better idea now. I want you people to act according to me, my idea. Now all his friends, his relatives, everybody, they ask him, okay, fine. What is the plan? You tell us the plan. Let me see whether we can execute it, whether we can do it. So the hedgehog says that since the field is divided into path, I showed you what is a path, right? This is a path. As people can see, there is a path over here, okay? Since it is divided into path. At the end of each path, I want each one of you to go and stand there. Fine, we will stand there. I will stand along with the ostrich On the count of 3, 1, 2 and 3, I will run along with the ostrich. We both will run. And I know very well that he will race me. He will go very faster than me. I know very well that, okay. But at the end of each path, each one of you will stand. You will pretend that you are a bit tired and take heavy breath. That is heavy breath. Okay, so he has to know that the person who is standing at the edge of the path is me. You will continue running. He will still assume that I am the one who is running along with him. At the other side, that is the other path, at the other end of the path, I want the other hedgehog to wait. You also have to start breathing heavily. As soon as you see the ostrich, you give him a little conversation. You have to talk to him and tell, oh, you're coming now. Okay, fine. Start running and he will again follow you. By the end of the race, I want each one to stand in one path and I will come and join on the last row. Okay, the last person, whoever the hedgehog is there, by the time the ostrich goes around the complete path, I will be standing in the last and I will finish the race. Now, all the other hedgehog thinks that, yeah, this looks like a very good plan. Fine, let us execute it. Let us do it now. So all his relatives go to the end of each path and they are all hiding and they are waiting. Okay. Now ostrich and our hedgehog are all set to have the race. Now on the count of 1, 2 and 3, the ostrich and our friend hedgehog, they start to run very fast. And they very well know that he cannot catch up the race. Ostrich goes to the end of the field. Okay. At the end of the path, there is another hedgehog who is waiting there. He starts breathing very heavy and he says, oh, you have come, fine. And he starts running. Now, ostrich is so much surprised to know that hedgehog has already raced and he's already there in front of me. Okay, fine, let me catch up. So, ostrich also starts running very fast. He goes to the other path and there again he finds another hedgehog waiting for him. He also pretends that he's having a heavy breath. He also says, okay, fine, you're coming so late. Come on, catch up with me. The hedgehog starts running. The ostrich is again very much surprised to see that this hedgehog is already going ahead of me. But still, the ostrich doesn't give up. By the time they complete the entire field, the last person who has to catch up with the ostrich is the first person who's our friend, who's already waiting at the end of the race. He goes and catches up with his friend, the ostrich. The ostrich is already behind him. He pretends to have a heavy breath and starts running and he says that I'm already going to win and I win the race. Now this ostrich is completely surprised. He's having a heavy breath and he's like, oh my god, what is happening right now? How did this hedgehog win the race? He has already completed the race. He was so surprised. By the end of the race, the ostrich was completely tired, but our hedgehog was completely fresh, was completely energized. He's like, oh my god, you are now only catching up with me. By then they have completed the race and our ostrich lost the race over here. Okay, so here the ostrich couldn't find the difference between the hedgehog at all. There were many hedgehogs actually, but the ostrich couldn't find out the difference between our friend hedgehog who had actually challenged him for the race. But in between the races, all his relatives were hiding and they were catching up with the ostrich. But the end of the race, our hedgehog won the race and our ostrich lost the race. So he was completely embarrassed. He was feeling so embarrassed. He was so shy about himself, like, I have lost a race with a small hedgehog. And his legs started hurting. It was paining so much. Now what he did, he went limping from the field. He dug up another hole and he hid his head inside, feeling embarrassed that he couldn't face up the hedgehog because the hedgehog was actually making fun of him, saying that even though I have a stumpy leg, I am the one who actually won the race. So this is the story. Let us do a quick reading of this story. So let me take my book. I want you people also to go very fast and get your literature book. Now I have got my literature book. I hope that you also have your literature book. So open up page number 9 and I will do the reading. Please do follow your book. The Ostrich and the Hedgehog. One beautiful summer's morning, a hedgehog set off for a walk across the sandy desert. He was going to see how far the barley had grown in a nearby barley field. So he was living in between the barley field. He had got up in the morning. He wanted to check out how far the barleys have grown in the barley field. The hedgehog had watched the barley grow from the first tiny green shoots. So he's been seeing the plant when they have been sown on the ground. So from the tiny green shoot till right now it has grown into the golden plant. He is been with the barley plant. So he knows every stage that the barley plant is being growing. Now the stalks were so tall that they towered above his head, and the barley would soon be ready for harvest. So he knows that from the small shoots, it has grown so big from the tower of his head, okay, above his head it has grown so big. From then he knows the barley plant, and he also knows that the barley plant is already ready for harvesting. Harvesting means cutting of the plant. There is no finer sight than a field of golden barley in the desert. The hedgehog said contentedly, okay. What does contentedly means? In a way that shows one is happy. So in a way one shows that he is very happy. It is pronounced as contentedly, okay. As he stood on the edge of the field admiring the view, a great ostrich came striding along. So it came striding means walking with long steps, okay. Walking with long steps, an ostrich came in between. Now the ostriches can't fly, so they have to walk or run everywhere on their strong legs. But they can certainly run very fast. So here the ostriches cannot fly. So he came walking with his huge legs, with big steps. He walked in between the barley field. The hedgehog looked up the ostrich and called out, "Good morning," in a cheery voice. Very sweet voice. He told him good morning to the ostrich. He should have wished him back, no, but the ostrich did not wish him back at all. But the ostrich merely looked down his nose at the hedgehog and said in a superior voice, "I'm not in the habit of talking to stumpy-legged creature like you." So he bent down so that his nose touches the hedgehog. Okay, he came very close to him and he said, "I don't talk to stumpy-legged creature like you, a tiny creature like you." So much of attitude this ostrich has. The next page, okay, that is page number 10. "My legs are stumpy," replied the hedgehog. He said, "Yeah, I know my legs are stumpy, but I can run faster on them than any other animal for miles around." He says that it may be stumpy, it may be very short, I know that, but I can run very fast. I can run for miles. Comparatively to the other animal, I can run for miles, he is telling. Oh my God, such a liar our hedgehog is. Scoffed our ostrich. He said, "You can run like that attitude, like that, okay? No one can run faster than I can with my strong legs." Ostrich is telling that nobody can run faster than me. I have very strong legs. The hedgehog's eyes twinkled. Twinkled means he is very angry. Now he is ready to challenge him now, okay? "That's what you think?" he said. "Why don't we have a race? Then we'll see who is faster runner, you or I." Now this hedgehog is already very tiny animal. Now he's challenged the ostrich saying that let us have a race and see, okay? And I will show you whether you're faster or I am faster. Come on, let us have a race. "Oh, it's sure to be me," boosted the ostrich. He said, "Even if there is a race, I'm sure that I'm the one who's going to win." Boosted means showing off, okay? Boosted means showing off. The ostrich was showing off, saying that even though if we have a race, I know that I'm the one who's going to win. "Let's race now, shall we? On the count of 3. 1, 2. The ostrich was, "Okay, come on, let us race right now and I'll show you now." Okay, so he immediately started to count. He said 1, 2. When he was counting, the hedgehog said, "Wait a minute. Wait a minute," said the hedgehog. "I haven't had my breakfast yet. I can't run on an empty stomach. We'll meet back here at midday." He said, "I did not eat my breakfast, okay? I cannot run in my empty stomach. Let me go eat my food by midday. That is by afternoon, we will have our race." Then we'll race each other up and down between the rows of barley. Is that agreed? He's saying that. Let me go have my breakfast. By midday, we will have a race. Let us go up and down between the fields of barley, and then we will see who can run fast. Let us decide and see who can run faster. The ostrich nodded. He shook his head. He nodded, thinking that nothing could be easier than racing against such a dumpy little creature. He said, and he just nodded. He said, okay, fine. Because he already knows that racing with this dumpy little creature, he knows that I will only win. Okay, fine. He agreed to that. He went off to take a nap, burying his head in the sand as ostriches do. So he went away. He thought that let me have some rest. Let me take a nap. So he went away from the hedgehog. He dug up the ground. He put his head inside and buried himself so that he can take some rest, energize himself and continue the race. Okay, he wanted to get ready for the race. As soon as the ostrich had gone, the hedgehog raced back home as fast as he could, calling to his family, please come quickly, all of you. Now after talking to this ostrich, our hedgehog ran very fast to his house. Okay, as he ran to his house, immediately he started calling, please come inside, all of you. He called all his family members. There's something I want to do. I want you to do for me in the barley field. He called all his relatives and he said, I want you people to do something for me in the barley field. So all the hedgehog's family, mother, father, brothers, sisters, cousins, even aunts and uncles ran up to the barley field and gathered around him. So all his relatives, they went around the little hedgehog. This is our hero, okay? So they gathered around him, all his relatives, they were around our hedgehog. Then there he explained to them what he wanted. So there he told them what he exactly wanted them to do. You must help me win a race against ostrich, he said. But how? Asked the other hedgehogs. It's like, come on, you people are going to help me. I have to win the ostrich now. I'm in a race. I have taken a part. I have challenged the ostrich for a race. I have challenged the ostrich. Now you people are going to help me now. Now all the other hedgehogs were surprised. They were like, how can we help this little fellow to win an ostrich? Yeah, is it possible? You can't hope to beat the ostrich with great long legs. So one of the hedgehog in that, he said, you can't win the race. He's already having very long legs, strong legs. He will only win. How can we help you? We are all very tiny animals. I can and I will, if you all listen carefully and do as I ask. He's telling them, see, I will win the race. I know that I can win the race, but I want you people all to help me. If you all help me, I'm very sure that I will win the race. Replied the hedgehog, you must all go and position. He's telling that you must all go and position in a place. Okay, position yourself so that there is one of you at the end of each row of barley. Say, each one should go at the end of each row of barley plant. The ostrich and I will start the race at the beginning of the first row, but when he is a few yards ahead of me, I shall turn back. Now when the ostrich comes racing to the end of the row, one of you will be sitting there pretending to be a bit out of breath from running so fast. So he's saying that you people will be hiding there. So when the ostrich is coming to that end, you have to pretend as if you're out of breath. This is out of breath. From there you have to start continuing the race. He will think it is me. So the ostrich will think the person who's there, who's taking that heavy breath, is me. Then when he reaches the end of the next row, he sees another hedgehog a bit out of breath. He will think I have beaten him again, and so on. It's a nice plan. No? So each end you people will be sitting and you will pretend that you're out of breath. So every time the ostrich sees you, he will think it is me and I'm out of breath, and he will be confused. He will not even guess. The hedgehog thought this was a brilliant idea, and they quickly ran off to take up their position. At midday, the ostrich returned to the barley field. So by then all were hiding. So they have already gone and they are all hiding near the end of each row. So by the midday, the ostrich came. Okay, to the barley field. Okay, he was refreshed from his sleep and looked very smug. Smug means he looked very pleased. So he came, he was fully refreshed. He was completely pleased because he knew that he is the one who's going to win the race. At the thought of winning the race, he lined up with the hedgehog at the start of the first row of barley. So both of them, they stood in the first row of barley and he was all ready to run. Are you ready? He asked. He asked the hedgehog. Who asked? The ostrich asked. Are you ready? Asked the ostrich. So let us start running. The hedgehog nodded. The hedgehog said, yes, I'm ready. Then 1, 2, 3, go, shouted the ostrich. And off he ran with great strides. Okay, they ran very fast, very, the speed was so much. Okay, they ran very fast and smacking to himself and leaving the hedgehog far behind. So he ran very fast. So how did they run? In great strides and smirking to himself, leaving the hedgehog far behind. But when the ostrich reached at the end of the first barley row, what did he see? The hedgehog was already there, puffing and panting and calling to him, ha, there you are at last. So by the time the ostrich had gone to the end of the row, there was already another hedgehog. Actually, the ostrich thought, is that the same hedgehog who was there in the race? But at the end of the barley row, there was another hedgehog there who was actually puffing as if he's out of breath, and he's saying, ah, there you have come to the race now at last. Again and again the ostrich raced away, running as he had never run before. But each time he reached the end of the row, what did he see? A hedgehog. So the ostrich was putting all his effort. He was running so fast because he wanted to win the race no matter what. But every time he reached the end of the row, he saw the hedgehog was already there and he was out of breath. Now this was completely annoying the ostrich. The ostrich could not tell the difference between one hedgehog and the other. So he did not realize that he had seen several hedgehogs, not just one. So there were so many hedgehogs, the ostrich couldn't make the difference at all. Okay, he thought it's the same hedgehog who was there in the race because there were so many. Okay, actually there were many hedgehogs who were hiding and helping the first one. But the ostrich was completely confused. He couldn't make any difference at all. When he reached the end of the last row, panting and completely exhausted, the ostrich was completely exhausted. He was having that heavy breath. What did he see? A hedgehog looking as fresh as Daisy and calling, so you have made it at last. By the time the ostrich reached the last row, he was completely exhausted. He was puffing so much. This is called as puffing. He was panting and he was puffing so much. He was exhausted. But what did he see there? He saw another hedgehog there and he was so fresh like a daisy flower. Just fresh as a daisy flower. And what did he say? So you have made it at last. The hedgehog said, at last you came now. The ostrich could not understand how he had been beaten by a stumpy little hedgehog. He was so surprised to know that the stumpy little hedgehog has beaten him in the race. He leapt off his tired, sore feet and buried his head deep in the sand. He was so embarrassed at losing the race that he didn't show his face again for a very, very long time. He was very tired. He was limping for his sore thigh, for his sore legs, and he went away embarrassed. He was completely shy that small little creature had actually beat him in the race, and the ostrich lost the race. He was completely embarrassed. So he went limping and limping. He went away from the place and he buried another pit and put his head inside and hid himself and never showed his face for a very, very long time. I hope that you people have understood the story. I want you people to read the story once again at home. Okay, so this story is there for our exam. The question and answer for this lesson will not be given by me. I will not give you the answer. I want to check if you people can frame your own answers. I want to know that if you can compose your own answers and write. So literature is a place where we teachers will be checking your way of writing your own answer. So this is the age that you will be learning to write your own answers. If you understand the story, you can answer any questions which is being asked to you. I hope that you people have understood the story. So children, please do read the story. Let me meet you all in an online session which is there on Tuesday. Till then, take care of yourselves, children. Bye.